So heading over to Aria. Hoping to play some 1-3 as per usual. Currently 1:52 Las Vegas local time. Last night the Bellagio ran okay. Hoping to come out better today, see if the Aria will serve us more effectively, but has yet to be seen. So we'll see you in there. So we started filming here about halfway through the session. Bought in for $250. I'm about $280 effective here. So first hand, 6-5 suited of the club variety on the button. There is a middle position raised to 10. I decide to call, and big blind makes the call as well. So we were going 3 ways to the flop. Flop comes down 3-Jack-6 with 2 diamonds. Checks to me, and with middle pair, I decide to just throw out a donk bet of $20. Just see what happens, and somewhat to my surprise, it folds around. So I just take the small-ish pot here. Maybe I could have bet a little bit smaller for some slim value, but happy to take this down with a pair of 6s, no showdown. Next hand, we're looking at ace, jack off suit. I am once again on the button here. There are a couple limpers. I decide to raise to 10. Folds middle position. He makes the call. So we're going heads up to the flop. Flop comes down 10 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds. I decide to check, and he checks back. Turn is a king of diamonds. I think I'm pretty netted here. He threw out a bet of $16. I raise to, I make about $50. See if I can get some more value out of him. He thinks for a second, then he decides to make the call. So I figure that he must have something here. But again, I think I'm pretty netted. River comes the 9 of clubs. So Jack Queen gets there, but he makes the check, shows some weakness. This player had been calling a lot. So I decided to go all in here for about 200. I think I made a mistake here because he thinks for a quick second, then ends up making the fold. And so I probably could have put in a smaller bet, maybe 100 or 75, and see if I get some more value out of the guy, knowing that I was pretty netted. So let me know in the comments what you think about how I played that hand. The very next hand, we're looking at my second favorite hand in poker, the pocket 7's. Early position that raises up to 10, and I decide just to go and throw in the min raise 3-bet to $20. Early position makes the call, so we're heads up to the flop, which comes queen 8 ace rainbow. He checks to me, and I c-bet for $30, get max value with middle pair, put pressure on queen x, ace x. Turn comes a king, not the best card. It ends up checking through. River comes a 3 of spades, essentially a brick. Flush draws are gone. It checks through again. I probably could have bet for some value here. I think about it, but just showdown with my 7's. Not sure where we are. Villain shows down a 6 of hearts, so I'm not sure what he was representing there. But 7's are good, so we take down the $100 pot with a pair of 7's. All right, next we are looking down at the king 10 suited of the heart variety. We're in undergun +1. Under the gun ends up raising to 10. I decide to make the call. Small blind calls. We're 3 ways to the flop, which comes queen 9-3 with 2 hearts. Good flop for me. Small blind under the gun check. I go ahead and bet $20. Small blind ends up counting his chips and raises to $55. Under the gun, thinks for a second, makes the call. I debate the re-raise here, but I figured I want to kind of avoid the jam, so I look at my stack and I decide just to make the call. So we are still going 3 ways to the turn. Turn comes the 8 of diamonds. So the backdoor straight draw gets there. Checks to me. I bet 75. I count out my chips here as sort of a semi-bluff, trying to represent perhaps the queen X or 2 pair holding. Small blind ends up making the fold. He lets it go, and then it goes under the gun. Under the gun tanks for a while. He was a fairly new player, about 3 hands with this player, but he ends up shoving all in for 96 total. For 21 more, I just go ahead and make the call. The river comes down the king of diamonds, so at least I have some showdown value here. He shows down queen jack, so I show down my king 10, and with a pair of kings, we are good, lucking out on the river. Thank you, river. This guy was pretty bummed. He had been rebought in for like 3 times at this point, so I felt a little bad taking his money, but he was a good guy. We talked about it a little bit after the hand. Next hand, we're looking at my favorite hand in Texas Hold'em, the pocket deuces. So with pocket twos, we are in under the gun. I go ahead and just limp in. The middle position raises to 15. I make the call. Folds around, heads up to the flop, which comes 9, 10, 4, rainbow. It checks through. The turn comes the 5 of spades. I still think we're good here. I check, and the middle position throws out a bet of $20. She's a pretty tight player, so I decided to make the call for 20 more. The river comes a king of spades, not a great card, so I just go ahead and check with my pair of twos. She checks back and throws down ace king, so she took the king on the river this hand, but it wasn't a super huge flop, so she just took down the $74 pot here. Next hand is somewhat of a fail of a hand. We're in the small blind looking down at the 7-6. Suited of the diamond variety. There's a button raised to 10. I make the call. Middle position calls for 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes down queen 6 ace with 2 diamonds. My backdoor flush draw. I go ahead and just check. It checks through. The turn comes the jack of diamonds. So we make our flush here. There's a royal flush out there. And I check, not realizing that I made my flush here. So it checks through. River's a 3 of diamonds. Pretty much every diamond in the deck is on the board here. And again, once again, I just check through, not even realizing like a square that I had my flush. I almost throw away my hand last minute. I flip it over and realize, wait, I have my flush. So felt like an idiot, kind of slow rolling there, but took down a $33 pot. Realizing I probably got a lot more value out of that. Oh well. Okay. Next time we were in the big blind with 2-4 offsuit. There are a couple limpers under the gun, +1, and a button limper, so we are a limped pot, and we go in 3 ways, 9, 6, 3, flop with 2 clubs. The backdoor straight draw gets there for me. It checks through. Turn is the 8 of hearts. I probably could have bet here, but I decide to check. Button bets 10. I make the call, hoping for something on the river. Under the gun, +1 folds. So we are heads up to the river. River comes a jack of hearts, a brick for me. I check, playing a check fold. Probably could have bluffed here, but it checks through. I just show 4 high, and he shows 3 for a pair of 3s. So he takes it down. Nice hand. Next hand, we are under the gun, 6-handed, and we look down at jack, queen of spades. I decide to raise to 10. Under the gun, +1 makes the call. Middle position over there makes the raise to 35. I look down at my chip. I got about, probably about 450 behind, so I decide just for 25 more to make the call. Under the gun, +1 folds. We are heads up to the flop. Flop comes down king 8 king with 2 spades. So I have the backdoor straight draw here and the flush draw. He throws out another bet for $30. I decide just to make the call. I feel like I could have re-raised here. The turn comes a queen of clubs though. So I make now middle pair. I didn't put the villain on a king. So it checks through. River is the 8 of diamonds. Now the board is doubly paired. It ends up checking through. I show down, not thinking we're good, but he throws cards in the muck. So our pair of queens takes it, and we scoop up this decently sized pot here. So the last hand I want to go through, I didn't end up filming, but I thought it was worth narrating over here. So we're going to go over this last hand. So I am in the big blind looking down at the 9-4 of hearts. These kind of wide gappers that I normally wouldn't play, but if I'm in the big blind, there's not much of a raise. If I have a good stack behind me, I usually like to play these, just like to gamble a little bit. So it folds around. The button raises to 10. He's a new player. I didn't quite know him yet. And I, in the big blind, I just decided to call for 7 more, see where this goes, vary up my range a little bit. And again, it's kind of fun to play these randomly distantly connected suited cards, see where they go. So we're heads up to the flop. Flop comes down 7 of diamonds, 8 of spades, jack of clubs. So looking pretty good for me, the backdoor straight draw. I decide just to check. The villain bets, just throws out a bet for $10, and I decide to make the call. The turn with $41 in the pot comes a 2 of diamonds. I think it's pretty much a brick besides the diamond draw. So once again, it checks through. The river is the miracle 10 of hearts, so I make my straight here. I decide, don't know why, but I decide just to check, hoping the villain will bet for value, thinking he's good here, which he ends up doing. He puts out a bet of $45, so just pretty much about a pot-sized bet. Somewhat polarizing, but again, I don't know how this player really plays yet, so I tanked for a second, thinking, trying to figure out, I think I'm good here, I think I'm better, trying to figure out how much I can raise for max value. So I decide to put in a raise of kind of a 3x raise to $130 with about $400 behind, and he thinks for about 15, 20, maybe even 30 seconds and ends up making the call. So I show down, and he shows down a pocket jacks for trip jacks on the flop. So kind of a rough cooler there, but I take down a nice sized pot. Happy to take that down for the last hand of the evening. Currently it is 7:33 p.m. Las Vegas time. About a 6-hour session here at Aria Resort and Casino. What a nice facility, nice place. You know, very luxurious, very enjoyable just being in the atmosphere and the environment there. You'll see my average probably around right here, like those people. What's up? Here's the parking garage. If you're curious what the Aria parking garage looks like, that is it. So that's my first Tesla. That's my second Tesla. That's my third Tesla. That's the business. That's the SUV business model. Leave them there for now. I'm gonna go to my other car, which I think is on the third floor. So we're gonna go to the elevator. The in for 250, out for 507. So I doubled up.
Floor.
Plus 7. That was pretty good. And now we're heading home, back to LA. Hopefully I'll stay awake. I got about 5 hours of sleep, maybe 4 hours of sleep last night. I think I had about 4 Red Bulls on the table these past 6 hours on the desolate 15 highway stretch of desert from Vegas to LA. Teslas were business. This is the recreational vehicle. This is the Mazda 3. Probably my favorite of the 4 cars. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. Catch you guys in the clippity. Peace out. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. And if you thought I could have played any hands more effectively, please let me know in the comments. Curious to hear what you think.